All right. I am supposed to start at 5:30. So to all the persons who would have been waiting for me to start at 5:30, I have to start now because there is a very bad weather forecast, and right now the thunder is, as we say, the thunder is rolling. You hear there? So I want to get as much as possible in because when the weather starts, the network gets bad, the noise everywhere, and I want to bring to you what I have to bring to you because yesterday, due to circumstances beyond my control, I wasn't here. But today, let's get to it. The rest of you can watch the program later. And for those who would have been waiting for 5:30, then you can catch it later as well. Just remember, it is important that you spread my message as far as possible. In other words, on your platform, because the numbers must grow. The numbers of subscribers must grow, and the audience need to grow. I'll let you understand why this is important. You see, what we have seen here, before the advent of Facebook, before the launch of TikTok, Instagram, and all these things, you had to have two main factors to even think that you are worthy enough or qualified enough to get in front of a camera, more so to open your mouth. You had to have looks and brains. Before the whole social media platform and so-called influencers ideas, you had to have brains and beauty, so to speak. Now that we have, for the past 5 years, let's say 5 years, it has become even more unbearable since COVID. I think COVID did a good thing for social media platform. That was what the social media platforms everywhere needed to become relevant. So since people were subjected to being at home, they were subjected to have to get along with each other. They were subjected and reduced to the fact that they had to start liking or pretending to like the persons within their household. Husbands had to pretend that he likes his wife. The wife had to pretend that she can tolerate the husband. And all these things happened during COVID. Those who could not pretend, their relationship dissolved. But people had to find an outlet, a way to stay alive, a way to count their presence amongst the rest of the normal individuals. And almost everyone who were in that dilemma found some kind of comfort, and it was therapeutic for them to come on Facebook, TikTok, and all these sites and cuss out somebody they may have had a disagreement with, or they had some kind of grievance with from since they are children, from whatever time. And it stuck. It became a trendy thing. It stuck. So now you have to contend with social media as a noisy neighbor, as a neighbor that you can't tolerate. No matter how you turn, where you turn, the neighbor is right in your face. That's TikTok, that's Facebook, that's Instagram. You have to deal with it now. At a time like this, as in most times, leading up to a general election, all of these bitter people awakes from their sleep. from their slumber. You know the anaconda that eats the whole person and it would rest for 6 months? Then, as the final digestion process is over, the anaconda begins to feel the sense of urgency of hunger and then rises again. In Guyana, we have those anacondas to deal with. The anacondas, don't get it twisted. When I'm talking about anacondas, I'm not complimenting them niggas. I'm not referring to what you think I might be referring to. I'm talking about the aspect of them being the lazy part. They eat, they sleep, and when they're hungry again, then they wake up and look to see whose house they can rob and whose purse they can pick and who they can harass so they can buy some drugs and buy some junk food again. That's the kind of anaconda attitude I'm talking about. Not the other one. If I have to talk about anaconda in the context of anaconda, in the sensuous way, I'll just refer to myself. I'm not promoting any other fella. I'll say, when I talk about rising anaconda, I'll talk about me. Anyway, so at this juncture in Guyana's history, we have a lot at stake. What we have at stake here is the fact that you have two sides. You have the Indo-Guyanese side, and you have everybody else. Literally everybody else. It is the other half of the country against Indo-Guyanese. You can say what you want. You can fabricate whatever ideas you have. It comes down to two things. Everybody else against the Indian population of Guyana. That's the bottom line. And who are the everybody else? The Afro-Guyanese, the Afro-Guyanese sympathizers, the Afro-Guyanese sponsors, and the Afro-Guyanese ghetto, all against the Indo-Guyanese. We have to be realistic to understand that the Amerindian is not counted in this equation. The Chinese, the Europeans, they're not counted in this equation. It comes down to two groups of people, blacks versus Indians. It has always been that case. And unfortunately, until the PNC party, the PNC as a party, until that is disbanded, dismantled, dissolved, extinguished, cease to exist, every time we have a general election, you will always have these issues. Because like every other country, whenever it comes a time where citizens must stand up and represent what they talk about, what they claim to believe in, what they pretend to embrace, every time that happens, the people who always are in opposition, against, and refuse to join the masses are the Afro population of that country. Always. Africans do not unite for betterment. It is something within the DNA, and it's not about slavery. Because of slavery, they united for the betterment of the abolishment of slavery. But it is a default thing whereby the average or the typical Afro person, black person, his or hers first reaction to a situation is negative. They project negativity. They expect only bad things. So when something good happens, they're shocked. They question that. In their minds, no. because nothing good should happen to a black person. That's not what the rest of the world says. That's what the black person himself is thinking. So if something good happens, he is suspicious. He questions that. He looks around to see who's trying to set him up because he does not expect anything positive. And also her, the black woman. So you find because of that handicap when it comes to the Afro person, they move through life with that kind of orientation. They do not make an effort to make no significant investment unless somebody comes and say, hey, I'm going to sponsor you. The onus is on the person who's sponsoring them to make it a success. But they would not take the risk upon themselves simply because they never think that anything good can happen. So you find everywhere you go, the neighborhoods that are predominantly black are underdeveloped. They're struggling. There's so much toxicity, so much violence, so much crime. And you wonder why. This is why. Because they all have a similar thought pattern. They all think the same way. Nobody will come out to make an investment, even though they may have the resources, simply because in their mind, it's a waste of time. The rest are not going to support me. I'm going to fail. So they will leave that thing how it is. When one finally comes out and make an investment, the other one is saying, what does he think he is? Who does he think he is? I'm going to show him that he's not going to be successful. I'm going to destroy his business. I'm going to send people to rob him. I'm going to burn his shop down. Negativity. Because they do not expect anything good happening to them and for them. They are comforted in misery. They feel safe in poverty. Because to a black person, poverty is his designation. So in other words, if he gets the opportunity to be rich, he's expecting the time to come when he would revert back to the state of poverty. So everyone he's suspicious of, everything he's suspicious of, because he doesn't think he deserves to be in the position that he's in. He thinks it's accidental. But when they are in poverty, they don't want you to disturb that. They don't want you to come with promises. They don't want you to give them a motivation or inspiration to leave, because in their mind, what are you doing? You're trying to set me up. You want to embarrass me. They're safe in poverty. This is a universal problem with black people, what I've just identified there. But this is not about going into that direction. At some other point, I'm going to get deeper where that's concerned. But my point in making that remark is what I've been saying before. The Ali Jagdeo government would always, in infinity, always face Afro-Guyanese stumbling blocks. Always. Because the programs and the investment and the policy of the Ali government or the PPPC has always been, from the inception, Chetty has said, we fight for the working class. There's a reason why he distinguished working class. Because the mind of the Indian, the typical Indian, is that you cannot achieve unless you work. You cannot be successful unless you work. So if you want to progress, you must have the mentality of being a part of the working class. Every elite, middle class, upper class groups in society, they did not get there overnight. They worked their ass off. They took risk. sacrifices. All of that constitutes working to get there. So they understood the value of their achievement and they cherished that. They will do whatever it takes to protect that. So when you talk about when the PPP's policy targets the working class, all the programs of the government is to affect and help people who have the ability, the interest, the motivation, the desire to work. If you are such a person, then the PPP's policy automatically accommodates you. But if you have no intention, if it is not a part of your DNA to work or see yourself in that group as a working class, everything that has to do with industry, that has to do with development and progress, you will do your best to stop it, destroy it, and to deviate those who are in that particular avenue from getting there. The people who are always criticizing progress, questioning progress, trying to block and destroy progress are Africans. Everywhere. This is not a Guyana thing. I'm making this universal because I need the rest of the society to understand. What you see the blacks in your neighborhood displaying, it is unique to them. It's every country. In the neighborhoods that are predominantly black, they have the same problem. Every country. And when you look at the continent of Africa, or the countries that are predominantly black, then you get my point. Then you get my point. It's a black thing. And you, as a non-black person, you have to protect yourself from that kind of disease, lest it come and contaminate you, your neighborhood, your family. Everybody is affected. So when the PNC is doing what they have always done, call for violence leading up to the election. And why they want violence? To prevent the continuity of progress. They want violence as a means to distract and justify their claims that the Guyanese people are not being attended to, the Guyanese people are not being looked after. But who? The people that they are appealing to for this continued violence are the blacks I just talked about. The ones who don't see themselves a part of the working class. The ones who just want to sit around, smoke drugs all day, walk at night looking to see whose house they can break into, go and borrow firearms from whoever they get it from, or rent it, commit crime, just for a chance to go to jail so that they don't have to work again. And for the women, they want to feel appreciated. They put their bodies as their prize and their possession. That's their wealth, their bodies. So every man that is willing to appraise that body that they're pushing, they open their legs. And before you know it, they have several children for different men. That's their value. And when they cannot create an economy that is workable for the children they brought into the world, and the men are not wrong, because the men have the same mentality. They're not a part of the working class. They hustle from time to time. They beg from time to time. And they join the social media group that just complain and complain and complain. And when you look at the telephone that some of these men have, that they're coming on live and they're making videos and posting it, You ask yourself the question, how could they possibly be proud of that equipment they have in their hand? And coming and bragging and talking and all these comments they're making, you would think that they're so great, that they're so important. And they don't have a sense of pride. At least if you're going to come and complain, show how the government's program is affecting you. Make a comparison to your life during the PNC time as against your life now. If your life was better, if your life was great, if you had an iPhone during the PNC time, and now in the PPP time, you have a Nokia, then I understand. But you can't have a fucking Nokia in PNC time, and in PPP time, you can buy a fucking Samsung, and still you're cussing the government. They're not helping poor people. Which poor person can afford an iPhone? Which? Listen, I don't have an iPhone. I never owned one, an iPhone. Never. I'm into Samsung. Everything for me is Samsung. What, it means I'm cheap? No, it doesn't mean I'm cheap. It means I'm asking myself the question, why the fuck do I need an iPhone when I can do the same job with a Samsung? I'll do with an iPhone. I ain't a bitch to want an iPhone. There we go. Okay, Dr. Love. You had me until the point of bitch and iPhone. Now explain what you mean by that. My grandmother said, my mother's mother, my late grandmother said, once she was sitting around and, you know, I think her son, my uncle, was complaining about some girl he was dealing with. I was maybe 9, 10 years. My parents had visited. So I was there, and for me, I'm always curious. I'm eavesdropping. I want to hear what's happening. And she told my uncle to comfort him. She says, every woman with a vagina is a bitch. Every female with a hole is a bitch. My grandmother said that. That's stuck in my head since I was 10 years old. What she was telling my uncle, in other words, you can't trust them. Women as a vagina. And a vagina, you can't tell when it's fucking or when it's not. You can't tell. She has to tell you, hey, I just fucked this guy. And most women wouldn't do that. That's why you say, generally, any woman with a hole is a bitch. All women, all females are bitches. Yes, because they ovulate and they get in heat. Ovulation, being in heat, equals bitches. So this is what I said. I ain't a bitch to want an iPhone. You still don't get it, do you? I'm saying it in the nice sense. I'm saying it in a nice way. It's like you're having sex. You know, you're making love to your woman. And when you pass the whole love-making part, now it's time to fuck. And you say, hey, turn over. You press her head down, or you grab her by the throat, you say, I'm gonna fuck you like my bitch today. And she's like, okay, daddy, do as you will. You see? So, hence, I don't have an iPhone because I'm not a bitch. Ask Rickford Burke. He's a bitch. Coming back to my point. So these people are coming on social media with a cheap ass phone and complaining. Well, at the end of the day, the PPP represents the working class. To be a working class, you don't have to be a university graduate. You don't have to be some director or minister of whoever. No, the working class means you get the fuck up every day and you go to a job. That's what working class means. You get the fuck up every day and you go to a fucking job. And at the end of the week, the fortnight, or the month, you get a salary. That is the working class that Chetty designed the policies and constitution of the PPP to target, put policies in place to encourage people to work. Don't make them lazy. Let them work. That's Chetty's program. The PNC, on the other hand, from the beginning of the Burnham devilish demonic regime, it was all about, Negroes don't like to work. So don't go putting that work propaganda shit to turn these people away. You got to make sure that you have policies to encourage them to stay lazy, encourage them to stay home, giving them handouts. Remember the time when Burnham was giving out packages to co-op this, co-op that, and remember that time? Yeah. Program to keep the people lazy, dumbed down, unproductive, stagnant, dormant. That's the PNC. So the PNC will always have issues with the PPP. Always. Because the PPP are encouraging people to work. They are making investment in every sector to create jobs. I said before, government don't hire people. Government create the conditions for businesses to invest so that they can hire people. All the programs and projects the government are doing. They're giving out all these contracts. What does the contractors do? They need staff. They need workers. They hire jobs. They hire people. The government give contracts. The contractors hire people. That's how you create jobs. And speaking of contracts, this thing that this fucking idiot talked about, this Norton guy, about thousands of contracts, but only a few hundred went to Afro-Guyanese. You are not there in the procurement commission. The people who are there obviously have an agenda. They're not supposed to be leaking information. If you want to know who has contract, you go to the Ministry of Public Works on a website. I'm sure you see all the persons who are awarded contract, how much is awarded for, you will see it there. But the PNC or Aubrey Norton is like these crooked pastors. You know, the fake pastors, these zombie bishops. They tell you, don't read the Bible. No. I'm here to read it for you. You don't have to read it. Don't read it. And they're going to take out a part of a sentence and interpret that to you to say to you, God says you should not rob God. You have to bring your tithes. You have to sow a seed. And they drive fear in you to say, if you don't do that, you're going to struggle, you're going to punish, you're going to this. And these lazy Negroes who know how to read, but because the pastor says, don't bother reading, I'll read for you. They would not take the time to go read the Bible and see that the fucker is lying. They won't do that. They're like, yeah, if the pastor said that, it's true. Same shit with Norton. Same shit with Norton. All of these people who are interpreting situations for the Afro-Guyanese are doing what they have always done. What they have always done. You have heard this thing universally that black people don't like to read. This is why they're easily persuaded. They're easily led. Because they don't like to read. And after the act is done, after the damage is done, one of the smart ones would say, hey, why the fuck do you guys didn't read this thing? Why didn't you read the fine print? Yeah, but I think he's one of us. We believe him. You know, we believe. No, everybody else reads. The blacks don't. So this is what they're doing. They're building up those group of thugs that are always there. They're always there waiting for an order. Sleepers, waiting for an order to do damage. All they do, they get up, some of them shower, they find whatever food they can find from wherever, they find the drugs they need, they find the beer they need, they hang around at night to see who they can rob, they go out with these prostitutes and these hookers, and then these hookers need men to protect them, so these hookers take care of these guys. And those nasty pussy, they fuck, then they go back to sleep. Until problems like what happened at Doubleday Hotel, problems like what happened in 2020, and all these political situations that the PNC want to capitalize on, they wait until those times, and then they're called out by their Bobby Norton and these other people and say, hey, burn the stuff, put tires on the road, do this there, do that there. So they feel like they're a part of a struggle. But the only struggle they are a part of is to make Guyana destabilized, is to make Guyana a criminal enterprise country. That's the struggle they're a part of. It's not a struggle to help the country. And these people that are overseas in countries like America, I don't know why the government of Guyana don't pursue them there. Don't you have an extradition treaty with the United States that you can actually find a way to get whatever you need to get to try these people in the Guyanese courts? You have seen there today this gay and proud Rickford Burke with his feminine voice recounting fake news about PPP killing. It's like what the Anil Nandalal says. PNC war in office 2015-2020. During the 2014 campaign for elections 2015, the same thing the PNC said. Vote for us. When we get into office, we are going to do the investigation into all the extrajudicial killings and the Phantom Squad and the Black Squad and the this and the that. We are going to bring those to justice. We are going to get the PPP people who were involved. They promised all of that. Granger, the key promiser. And in 5 years, the only thing they managed to do is to create fake charges against Jagdeo, against Irfan Ali, and some PPP. That's all. All the thing they claim. They're going to go after this killing from whenever time and the Gadraj era and to get votes. They disappointed all those people. Same promises they made then, they're making now. And to make matters worse, they came into office in 2015 and they immediately undo all the cash programs that the PPP had done on the Ramatar. All of it they undo. And they pocketed that money. Took it for themselves. Gave themselves increased salary increases. Or are you forgetting that? Now the same PNC people are now coming and talking about the Guyanese deserve more. We are going to increase the cash grants. We're going to increase this. We're going to increase that. The oil money is this and the oil money is that. The difference between Aubrey Norton and Barra Jagdeo is when you listen to Barra Jagdeo, you have to put on your thinking cap. When you listen to Barra Jagdeo, You have to understand that as a person, you can have two emotions. One, thank God you completed your schooling, or shit, I should have finished school. Because when Jagdeo speaks, you feel intelligent or a dumbass. The only way you feel as a dumbass is if you hadn't taken advantage of the education that you were exposed to. But when you feel intelligent, you're thanking your parents that they sent you to school. Because Jagdeo, when he speaks, he appeals to your intelligence, the analytical part of your mind. The man is sophisticated. When you listen to Aubrey Norton, well, you can't listen to Aubrey Norton, but if you happen to come across him speaking, you know very well that whatever he's saying is not for you. You know very well. I mean, people can tell, right? You can tell when something is for you and is not for you. You go somewhere, you see a woman, the way she dresses, you can tell, not my type. You wouldn't bother. You wouldn't bother asking her, why do you dress like a slut? Maybe she has a good excuse. No, you just look at her and you know right, not for me. You move on. See the kind of people that she attracts. She attracts the guy with a lot of tattoos, fucking piercing all over the place, piercing on his tongue, on his nose, his eyes, and his pants sag with her slippers and a sock. Then you realize, well, the universe don't make mistakes. There is somebody for everybody. But you know it's not for you. Same with Aubrey Norton. When you look at Aubrey Norton, you know exactly that that's not what you should be looking at. When you listen to him, you know, not for me. But there are people who takes pleasure in listening to Aubrey Norton and repeating what Aubrey Norton says. And one of those persons is Rickford Burke. Because Aubrey Norton appeals to him. You see, he forgot the time when the Indians, Indo-Guyanese, rescued his broke black ass when he was going to secondary school. He forgot those times. He forgot. So now that he's living under the shelter and the welfare program of the white man's country, he could pretend and brag, boasting, until Trump ready for him. That he's invincible, he's safe there. Talking about perpetuating violence against the Indo-Guyanese. Because Aubrey Norton's rhetoric finds residence in the mind, in the vocabulary, in the desires, in the fantasy of Rickford Burke. I'm just calling his name today. That he have the audacity to come on the internet, like he always does, and openly call for violence against Indo-Guyanese. Openly. Using some weak, poor, unsubstantiated comparisons. Since when? Where is the evidence that the PPP killed blacks in Linden? Where is the evidence? And who is the police officer or police, some higher up? This is what they say. Same thing like Smelly Mel, Melissa Atwell. Somebody always giving them information. I can't reveal my sources, but this, but that. And the shit they talk about that somebody gave them is stuff they're reading on the Chronicle website, the Starbuck News or the Culture News. It's there. They're reading it. And then saying, oh, somebody tell me this. No, nobody tell them shit. It's whatever they're coming with to say that they're the only one who have that information. It's on the website. It's on the newspapers. That's where they saw it. So his claim that some police stole him whenever about they get orders from the PPP to use live rungs when the Londoners were blocking the bridge, but he can't reveal. Why not? These are the things, Anel Nandalal, Attorney General, these people are making these kinds of accusations against your government. And they're saying that they have information from top police officers. Use the apparatus of the courts. Subpoena Rickford Burke to provide the name, and he's not a news agency to have to protect his sources. No, he is now using that to say it justifies their claim, PNC claim, to have violence against the Indo-Guyanese before and after elections, because the Indo-Guyanese have been killing the blacks in Guyana. That's their justification. So if Rickford Burke is saying that police officers told him they got orders to use live rounds and the orders came from PPP camp, you need to find out the police officer who it is, get him, bring him for questioning, and let him say who in the PPP camp told him to use live rounds to shoot to kill. That's how you solve crime. Then he has to give up his sources. But if you allow them to peddle this thing, people will now depend on people like Burke to say, well, we have to trust Burke because the police officers trust him, like Smelly Smell. Oh, these people trust them because, you know, in the PPP camp, they have some people who are ditching them, and they're afraid to come out. So they are sharing information with us on the PNC side because they're afraid of their lives. They don't want their names to be called. But none of their accusation can be substantiated. None of it. None of it has ever been proven. It's all made up. They're making it up. They're sitting around and thinking, what can they fabricate to get attention, to trend? So because certain things are common, they figured, hey, I can say this, I can say that, and say that somebody gave me the information. Rickford Burke, your Obia wouldn't get me, Aubrey Norton. Rickford Burke, I can also say that your ex-lover said you enjoy when he comes in your mouth. I can also say that. And you can't deny it because you know who the ex-lover is. And he's Indian, Indo-Guyanese. I can say that. I didn't say it. I said I can say it. Smelly Smell or Melissa, whoever. I can also say that you exchange sex for money. I can say that too. I didn't say it, but I can say it. You think everybody that you hang out with likes you? You think so? I don't hang out with anybody. I have 0 friends. That's a matter of fact. I have no friends. On social media, yes. But to say people that I hang with, go chill with, none. No fucking body can say they were my friends. Nobody. If I designate somebody as friends, I'm talking about best friend as in childhood days. There are a few. But as an adult, as of the age of 18 to now, nobody. Don't tell me about before 18. Before 18, you are now discovering yourself. Okay? I've had close associate brothers. I won't call them friends, brothers. And they were all Indo-Guyanese. From age 18 to now, nobody, nowhere can come on social media and say they were my friends. I am saying it's a lie. That's what I'm saying. But you, Burke, you seem to like, till now, the company of, I mean, now you mix with white guys and them gay black guys in America there. The guy in his community, you know, the gay community in Guyana, yeah, in New York. So you're coming and you're peddling these things and you're building up these thugs in Linden. Why did they allow the PPP to go to Linden? Who the fuck are they? Who are you talking to that they have to give permission for the PPP to go to Linden? Who are they? They were, listen, you idiot. They were born in a hospital in Linden. Okay? None of them Negroes in Linden, they don't own that town. They don't own it. You have a mayor and some other assholes. But they don't own it, they live there. They live there. The government, the PPP party, or any political party can go anywhere in the country. Any fucking town or region in the country, they can go. So you asking those lowlifes in Linden how they allow the PPP to go there? They should have stopped them. You should have been there to stand and block the motorcade of the PPP from entering Linden. You should have been there. Or Norton or the others to stop them. Or any part of the country. Don't stand, don't be on social media and yap, talking and inciting violence. Go and be a part of the violence. You want to be a thug. You want to be a gangster. All these riots that you people are calling for, elections is in a few weeks. Book your flight. Ask Jagdeo to sponsor a flight for you. He'll do it. He's a generous guy. Ask him to sponsor a flight for you and Winchcop and Smelly Smell and all these people, and go the fuck to Guyana and go and get involved in the riots. Go. Why did you do that? Don't stay in the white man's land and push propaganda inside violence. Don't do that. You want to be a gangster? You want to be a terrorist? Just go. They'll welcome you if you survive in Mazaruni or Lusignan or where's the other one? Anyway, I don't like to call Cam Street because I want that sore eye, that hideous complex to be removed. Get rid of it. Remove the Cam Street prison from Cam Street. Get it the fuck out of the city. It's disgusting. Build something nice there. Build a nice mall or something. But get it out. Remove it. In your second term, Irfan Ali, how long does it take to build a prison complex? Would it take longer than the bridge? I mean, the bridge took a little while, but it's getting completed. And I understand the bridge is complex. It's not an easy task. But how long would it take to build a prison? Remove the one from Camp. Get it somewhere, another part of the country. Keep the city free from that hellhole. So the violence, Burke, that you're calling on, you should come and lead it. Go to Guyana and lead the protests. You are saying that the PPP are going to rig the elections. You have all the information. You have the evidence. You and Melly Mel and all of these other people, you have the evidence that the PPP plans to rig it. You are like the Secret Service. You are like the NSA and FBI. You have all this evidence that, hey, they're planning to rig. Okay, fine. You have all the international observers there. Give them the information. You have the Carter Center, you have the European observers, you have all the people there to observe the elections. Provide them with the information that the government plans to rig the election. Give them a thumbs up, a heads up. Don't stay on your babbling and inciting violence and all that kind of bullshit. Provide the evidence. I'm an evidence-based person. That's me. I want to get down to the facts. Let's skip this asshole for a moment. Fellow Guyanese, grab this. The PNC like to talk about Jagdeo is bisexual and Jagdeo is this and Jagdeo is that. We all hear they talk about Jagdeo is gay, Jagdeo is this. We all heard that kind of crap. We heard it, right? Think about this. How many regulations regarding the LGBTQ stuff community in Guyana, how many was approved under Jagdeo government when Jagdeo was president? And how many was approved under Granger government? How many? Granger government, the PNC government under Granger was more sympathetic, pushing for legislations to bring about same-sex marriages and all these kind of things in Guyana. It was the PNC. And imagine the PNC is a party of Christians, church-going people. For he is Lord. PNC. And under their Christian government, they were pushing programs and policies that were friendly to the abomination, the PNC. Have you heard recently what the vice president said? The same man they accuse of being gay or bi or whatever. Have you heard what he said? My government, we are not going to pass laws to officially recognize same-sex. He said, we are not going to do that. Never. However, we respect everybody's right to live their lives. But that's your business. We respect and we protect the rights of every Guyanese. Ain't nothing special about a gay group or this group. No, nothing special about that. Every Guyanese deserves the right to be protected, to be safe, to have economic opportunities, to be treated with respect. Every Guyanese, regardless of your sexual orientation. We don't have time for that labeling bullshit. Guyanese, the Constitution protects you. But if you identify as a lesbian or a gay or whoever it is, that's your fucking business. That's your business. We don't have time to write laws and some special thing for that shit. If somebody approaches you and harms you, the law will deal with him for crimes against an individual. Not a gay lesbian, an individual. So in a vice player, that hey, we ain't in that stuff. We ain't in that stuff. We recognize every Guyanese. But when you come with that stuff that you're going to pass some special law, a special this, meaning you have to recognize legally that a man and a man can get married and you see them as husband. No. The PNC was pushing for that. And they're the ones who are accusing Jagdeo of being a homo. Don't you think if Jagdeo was into men, or he hated women, don't you think he would be the first person to push that stuff? Since Ali became president, they would have been the first people to pass those laws, to push those things, and to make a whole big deal about the gay stuff. They would have done it. But they resisted all the attacks and the pressure from the international organization. They resisted it and said, we are not in for that. Don't push that lifestyle on our Guyanese people. If people want to do what they want to do in their bedrooms, that's their business. But don't push it to be a part of public policy. The PNC were the ones pushing for that. The PPP is protecting the sanctity of marriage. The PPP is protecting the sanctity of the woman, of the family. It is a PPP under Jagdeo and Ali who is protecting that. How the fuck can you Christians support the PNC? How? They're the ones who want the same-sex stuff. They're the ones who want to push for this equality stuff. And you're supporting them. And the party that stands for righteousness, stands for God, stands for the Constitution, the institution of marriage and the family, you're hating on them. But the ones who are pushing the devil's agenda, you're loving them. And you call yourself Christians. This is why I said on many occasions that the Guyanese Christians are fucking hypocrites. This is why I say it. They're the ones who spread this fake news about rituals with this Adriana case. Christians helped to do it. How can you even side with the PNC? And don't leave it there. You have a man who's a criminal, who has been convicted by the American institution and sanctioned by OFAC, where the banks want nothing to do with him. And you have Christians, church-going Christians in Guyana, joining with, standing with Azruddin Muhammad. What is their justification? What? Oh, well, who are we to judge? Only God can judge. We are all sinners. That's their justification. Their true justification is their hatred for Indo-Guyanese. They pretend to love Azruddin Muhammad because he reflects black ghetto culture. That's the only motivation they have to standing with Azruddin. Christians, because of racism. And these same Christians are pushing, subscribing, and this thing that this Borg guy likes to do. Y'all share this. Y'all share this live. Look. Sometimes I forget to tell people to share stuff. I can boast about one thing. I have been, and I said the other day, I have been in the public's eye since I'm 18 years old. I have been in front of a camera professionally since I'm 19. Before all these guys, all these fools now that are coming up and claiming it, before they even knew the internet existed, I was on the fucking internet. They just start with this bullshit. I am the true legend. I am the real legend when it comes to public broadcast or talk show. I am the true legend. I am the real hero. I am. And there are many people out there who can verify that. There are thousands of people who can say, yes, exactly. So I'm asking myself now, what is the justification in people sharing Burke's live or sharing Benchcup's live? But what? For what? You're sharing it on your platform for what? Is it something important that he has to say? Are you learning anything from there? Is he lookable? No, none of the above. So why the fuck are you sharing it? Why are you sharing it? Why are you commenting on it? Why? If you have to share anything, it's me. I'm the legend. All of them, they just came. They just came. From day one, I've been Dr. Love. From day fucking one. To now, I'm still Dr. Love. So the poison that they're pushing out, the racism, the division that they're pushing out, and they're telling you, they're ordering you to share their video. For what? Why would you do that? You should block them. Don't let that poison come into your head. They're pushing that propaganda because they want the Indo-Guyanese to leave Guyana in fear of riots that's coming. The ones who are geared to go back to vote, they don't want you to go to Guyana to vote. The only way you can come into that information is if you watch them, if you listen to their live. But if you ignore them, if you don't watch their video, don't watch their live, don't just ignore them, then you will know Guyana is safe. That you can go to your country and you can vote for the PPPC. But if you listen to them and you troll them as if you need them, you will be depressed, unhappy, miserable. You will be afraid to even acknowledge that you are a Guyanese wherever you are. That is their plan, to make sure that a lot of the Indo-Guyanese don't return to vote, and if they're there, they don't come out to vote. But I say, fuck it. You know what they're planning to do? Be prepared. You know what the PNC is all about. Be prepared. Violence begets violence. That's it. If they hit you on the right cheek, don't turn the left. Hit them on the right and the left. They threaten you, threaten them. They come after you, go after them. Whatever these PNC pundits are calling against the Guyanese people, the Indo-Guyanese largely, don't sit idly by and pray. Om Shanti. No. Nobody is shutting them up. Facebook is not taking down their accounts. They took down mine twice. They're allowed to. So you have to now be counteractive. Don't wait for violence to reach you. Make sure that you are protected and you are prepared. You know what they're waiting for, you know what they're planning. But at the end of the day, we have to protect our vice president. This fight is against Jagdeo, not Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali is not a threat to the PNC. He's not a threat. Bara Jagdeo is the biggest threat to the PNC. The biggest enemy to the opposition is Bara Jagdeo. They want his head, not Irfan Ali. Jagdeo is the defender, the protector, the sustainer of the Guyanese nation. Only one man. You can say what you want. All right? I'm telling you, if it was not for Jagdeo, we are fucked. we will be taken advantage of from everyone. It is Bharat Jagdeo who is keeping the Guyanese economy, society, everything intact and healthy. Bharat Jagdeo. That same INDO guy that they hate, you better be thankful. Presidents will come and go, but Jagdeo will stay. He will stay. And eventually, you will see his purpose. But for now, you, the Guyanese citizens, you need to protect Bharat Jagdeo. Whenever you see something on social media against the man, correct it. Block it. Pray for the man. And you lunatics, if you think that by default, because I may look Afro-Guyanese, I'm supposed to support, or everybody who's black is supposed to support the PNC, this James Bond guy, for whatever reason, he probably had the same mentality that he needed to be with the PNC. So he was brainwashed to thinking that that's where he belongs. But after they took advantage of him, and he realized that they're draining his energy, like all the other black people who left them, they realized, no, not because I'm black, I have to be with you. No, I have a choice. It's freedom of choice. So these blacks that are leaving the PNC, going with the PPP, they're saying the same thing. I don't have to be with you because I'm black. You're full of shit. You PNC and Aubrey Norton, you are full of shit. I don't have to because I'm black. Fuck you. The same thing I'm telling them now with me. I will never support the PNC. Even if the PNC gets an Indo-Guyanese leader, I still would not support the PNC because of what the PNC stands for. The PNC is the brainchild of Barnum, who massacred people, who imprisoned, enslaved, and who starved his nation. That's his legacy. The PNC represents that legacy. I can't stand with that. The PPP is the liberator. The PPP is the Nelson Mandela of Guyana. The PPP is the Mahatma Gandhi of Guyana. The PPP is the Mother Teresa of Guyana. The PPP is the Muhammad of Guyana, the Jesus Christ of Guyana, the Allah, the Krishna, the Jehovah. The PPP are all of these to Guyana. The PNC is the devil incarnated. And Aubrey Norton is the devil's operative. Yes, Norton, you are. That's it. So this is Dr. Love Prasad saying. Prasad means precious gift. I'm first on the scene. I'm the legend. Okay? I may look young to a lot of you, but I'm the legend. If there's anyone that you need to support, it's me. Anyone you need to support, it's me. If you're black and you have some hatred because you think I'm cussing out black people, look at your life and ask the question, as the black person, all the troubles that you faced in your life, who brought them to you? I am sure you would say black people like yourself fucked up your life. So don't hate me because I'm just calling out the spade the spade. When I meet decent, law-abiding Afro-Guyanese or black people that respects humanity and respects human beings and do their best to help and better society, I bow to them. I honor them. I praise them when I meet them. But all the others that are destroying what God has created, I have to criticize, I have to call them out, and I have to push for them to be locked the fuck up. Because I'm not standing with that. Happiness is treasure. Peace is fortune. And the only way Guyana can stay happy and peaceful is under the PPPC, under the guardianship of Vice President Barra Jagdeo. Irfan is my brother, but the fact is the fact. Jagdeo is the one that's keeping that country how it is. Listen to him. Pay attention to what he's saying. There is no politician in the Caribbean that speaks like Jagdeo. Analytical, perfect, to articulate, well spoken, based on numbers, precise. No politician that speaks like Barra Jagdeo. And Barra Jagdeo is a Guyanese, born, bred Guyanese. Why can't you be proud of him? Because he's Hindustani? Because he's Indian? Why can't you be proud of Barra Jagdeo? He's Guyanese. Don't see him as Indo-Guyanese. He's a fucking Guyanese. Why can't you be proud of him? That he's that great, that smart, and we can show him off to the rest of the world. Why not? He is one of us. Guyanese, be proud of your own and stop being a hypocrite and praising some other country's president or country's leader. And you have great men in Guyana, great men. And because of your hatred, you can't push them, you can't praise them. Thanks for being a part of the show. And remember, your support is what's necessary. I don't remember the number of my head, so I have to let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Hold on. Should be somewhere. I gotta get into the phone. Not all of you usually checks my okay. Yeah. Okay, it's 831, that is 831, 831, 9179. That is 831, 9179. 8 as in the number 8, number 3, 1, 9179. But you need to put before that the area code of Suriname, which is 597. 597. Then 831, 9179. Send me a text or an app, and we take it further. But like I said before, when you support Winchcop, Burke, Smelly Welly, when you support the PNC pundits and the PNC demons, you are subscribing towards their plan to harm and destroy and destabilize Guyana. They're the ones calling for that. When you support them, when you send your love gift to them, you are initiating the process of crisis in Guyana. And you can't get blessings like that. You don't support them, you block them. I am the one that you should be standing with. My videos you should be sharing. Under my feed you should be commenting. I have your back. And when that time comes, and the universe install me as your Home Affairs Minister, I'm going to show you that I represent everything I've been saying. That I will make Guyana safe forever. I'll burn the fucking ghetto down. They want violence? We'll give it to them. See you again next time.
something like that.